Gupta, who's a CA, who's joining me on the broadcast. Arpit, the ICAI has, of course, announced the CA final result, and it's come at a very low overall pass percentage of just 14.07%. What do you have to say for that?
Yeah. So group down by 12.6%.
Arpit, there's an issue with your audio. Let me just do an audio check again. Can you hear me? Am I audible? All right, we do seem to have a connection issue there, but we're going to try and re-establish that with Arpit viewers. But in the meantime, let me tell you about the latest update, which is that the ICAI has announced the CA final result 2026 with a low overall pass percentage of just 14.07%. And this is out of 23,776 candidates who appeared for both groups. Only 3,345 students have cleared the exam, and this, of course, marks another tough result for CA aspirants this year. I want to go back to my colleague Atul, who's joining me. Atul, what is the latest update? And of course, this isn't good news for students and CAs alike. I mean, the CA aspirants, it's not good news.
Well, yes, traditionally the pass percentage remains low, and there's a particular reason why. If you look at the passing criteria for CA final examination, if I could just elaborate on that, to qualify for the CA final examination, a candidate would have to score at least 40 marks in each subject, and secure 50% aggregate the overall. And now candidates who obtain 70% or more marks in aggregate are awarded the status of pass with distinction. Now that is an achievement which is also mentioned on their results card as well. Obviously, this examination, which was conducted from May 2 to 12, has shown a drop in the pass percentage, not very high pass percentage this time around as well. But the ICAI has always maintained that the examinations obviously is tough. The competition out here is difficult, and given that fact, this remains for candidates who have been able to clear this examination, it remains a certain kind of achievement that that they'll forever remember as well.
All right, stay on, Atul. Now we have more information coming in. Out of 42,573 total candidates, 725 candidates have cleared Group 2, crossing the overall pass percentage over 20.49%. Atul, what can you tell us on this latest update?
Yeah, just to give our layman viewers some distinction between what is Group 2 and how is Group 2 different from Group 2. Group 2 is basically, it has papers about management, taxation, and multidisciplinary papers it has. And the Group 2 essentially transitions into, business management, strategic decision making, and direct, indirect taxation laws. And if I talk about, the kind of papers that, students appear for in Group 2, then the papers that they appear for is around direct tax laws and international taxation, which essentially covers, comprehensive domestic income tax laws, corporate taxations, and cross-border transfer pricing as well. Another paper that Group 2 comprises of is the indirect stock tax laws papers, that essentially focuses on goods and services tax, the GST, and the regulations around it, the customs law of the country, all of that is covered in the indirect tax laws part as well. Now, there's a third paper, that is Integrated Business Solutions, that is IBS, which is a quite unique and also a multifaceted case study paper. That paper is in fact open book, and tests the knowledge.
All right, Atul, I'll come back to you. I have Dr. Sharad Kohli, is a senior economist who's joining me in the broadcast. Dr. Kohli, the ICAI has announced the CA final result 2026, but with a low overall pass percentage of just 14.07%. And that, of course, is a tough result when it comes to CA aspirants this year. What would you like to say on that?
Well, Vaishali, good afternoon to you and the viewers. Well, I must inform you, Vaishali, that besides being an economist, I hold a dual CA qualification from India and England. So I understand this exam very well. I think the pass percentage, Vaishali, if you ask me, is not too bad. 14% is not all that bad. There was a time when I had passed out, it used to be 2 to 3%. So CA exams, if you search online, they are amongst the toughest exams, across the world. In fact, Indian CA is supposed to be the toughest. And the best part of CA exams have been that if you look at NEET and other papers where we keep hearing of leakages here and there, I think the sanctity of CA exams of 1959 when this CA Act was set up by an Act of Parliament, there's never been a case when there has been a paper leak or there's been any wrongdoing in the examination system. So very transparent and a very, very clean examination system. And I think the CAs in this country, they earn a lot of respect. In terms of money, I must tell you, Vaishali, I think the viewers will be more interested, especially people who want to join or who have CAs in their family, that they are amongst the best earning professionals. I mean, you take doctors, engineers, architects. CAs are amongst the best who are earning, whether they are in job. And the best part of CA is it gives you a chance to practice. You need not compulsorily be in a job. You can set up your practice with various areas, in taxation, in audits, accounts, consultancy, financial consultancy. So I think to all the students who have qualified, my congratulations, Vaishali, and I wish them a very good career ahead. I'm sure they're going to love being in this profession in the years to come. But the percentage is not all that bad, Vaishali, because if they flush out too many CAs, it will reduce the value of the profession. Then the finding a job, getting work for practice will become tough. So the Institute of Chartered Accountants regulates these results, and only the best people pass out, Vaishali.
That's interesting, Dr. Kohli. You and I have spoken multiple times, but I didn't know that you have also appeared for this. And it's interesting, Dr. Kohli, because that in fact was my next question. I wanted to ask you how aspirants can prepare better, better prepare for future attempts, especially given the consistently low passing rates. Is there any particular advice that you'd like to give to everybody watching?
Oh yes, since I have qualified twice, so I can give you a first-hand feel of how the preparation should be. I think it's not about the quantum of preparation. It's about the quality of preparation. Like one of the exams is an open book exam. Now, in an open book exam, you can't really go on to prepare. So I think it is an application-oriented, it is gradually becoming an application-oriented examination where you need to focus on understanding the concepts. Well, a lot of people treat CA exams as, as they call it in examination language, you just try and mug up everything. I think it's not about that. It's about understanding and CA takes you to the top of the financial management. There is advanced financial management, advanced accounting. So there is nothing in finance and accounts which a chartered accountant does not know. So therefore, understanding the concepts is very important. Self-study should be the focus. Institute of Chartered Accountants supplies you study materials. There are classes held in various centers of Institute of Chartered Accountants. You can go and attend, although some of the classes may be optional. But then you also are trained with a practicing CA. You're supposed to be taking a 2-year internship, articleship. There's a lot you learn. There's a lot of students I've seen, they take this articleship as a formality. Well, the fact of the matter is there's a lot that you do in the exams, you actually do in your training period. So it's about applying your mind and rather than quantum. I hear people saying 14 hours of study, 16 hours of study, 12 hours of study. It's not about the quantum. It's about understanding the concept properly and grasping them as quickly as possible and be very conscious rather than nervous while appearing in the exam. That's the catch, Vaishali.
Dr. Kohli, please stay on with me. I'll come back to you. We have more breaking inputs, viewers. Now, out of 54,606 candidates who appeared for Group 1 examination, 6,555 candidates have passed the Group 1 exam, making the Group 1 pass percentage as 12%. I have Atul Ranjan, my colleague, joining me. Atul, what can you tell us on this?
Well, yes, Group 1 examination this time around, as you mentioned, the pass percentage has been lower compared to Group 2. And in fact, overall, both groups simultaneously, if you see that pass percentage, which stands around 14%, compared to all of that, the Group 1 pass percentage is lower this time around. And what we're given to understand is that around over 54,000, in fact, students appeared for this examination and for the Group 1 paper as well. And only 6,500 candidates could clear the examination. So that essentially brings the Group 1 passing percentage to 12%. Now, obviously, Sharat Kohli is more appropriate to talk about, the expertise that is required to clear Group 1 examination and why is it difficult. But what we can say is that, Group 2 this time around has shown significantly better performance compared to Group 1. And that is probably the key highlight of this results this time around.
All right, I want to go back to Dr. Kohli, who's a senior economist. Dr. Kohli, I have two parts to my question. One is that do you think there should be any significant changes in the syllabus or the exam pattern, perhaps make it more student-friendly, because clearly the times have changed now? And the other part to my question is, Dr. Kohli, it's very important that students don't take pressure because there's so many cases that we hear of, unfortunate cases. My question to you is that for students who've failed multiple attempts, what career options or alternative pathways should they consider while continuing their CA journey?
Well, I think if you see the total number of chartered accountants in the country at this point of time, Vaishali, they're about 6 lakh plus. So the very fact that this is a niche kind of a profession, if they allow too many people to pass on, then the people who have passed on, they will lose their value, and even the person passing out will lose the value. So what they try and do is, like your colleague was commenting about the first group being tougher this time. Well, many a times the second group which is tougher. So, typically, although I would not like to leak out some of the secrets because I've formerly been in board of studies of the Institute of Chartered Accountants way back about 20 years ago. So the secret is that some exams are made tougher in every attempt. So there will be 1 or 2 subjects which will be an unusual kind of an exam. That is because they want to test you on your skills where you haven't prepared as much. How much can you apply yourself, Because after all, when a chartered accountant passes on, he or she has to represent either a corporate finance department or he'll be in practice. So he will face problems every day. And many a times, Vaishali, those problems are unprecedented. You have not seen those problems before. So if there is everything coming your way, which is all you've already prepared, then basically you're not ready for the industry. You're not ready to provide solutions to people because it's not necessary that the problem has occurred before. So that is why some of the exams are always made in a manner where there is an unprecedented aspect. That is, there's something new. It catches you extempore, if I put it in different words. So I think this is always done, and the best people always pass out. The 14% who passed out must have been amongst the best. The people who have lost the ground, they need not worry because the exam happens. The best part is, Vishali, every 6 months. It's not a Kumbh Mela happening after 12 years. So they need not lose their heart. They can get back to their study tables once again, see where there are weaknesses. You can get your exam result evaluated. You come to know from the marks that where was I lacking. You can consult your peers. You can consult a teacher as well. There are various teachers available on the subject. And you will come to know where you're lacking. So eventually, a typical time to pass out the CA course on an average. I remember when I did it in 2.5 years. So I was lucky. But now a typical time is about 4 years. Between 4 and 5 years, you complete the whole course. So I think it is a lot. And, if you want to become a doctor and MD, it takes you 5 years plus another 2 years of post-graduation, 7 years. So I think 4 or 5 years spending on a profession which is going to make you earn your living for the rest of your life, make you have a luxurious, comfortable life. I don't think there is any issue. So people should not lose heart. This is not an academic exam. This is a professional exam. So you need to differentiate between an academic exam and a professional exam. In a professional exam, one cannot allow everybody to pass out. Otherwise, you will, instead of 6 lakh, you would be having probably 60 lakh CAs, and then there will be no worth of the chartered accountancy course. So in order to keep the niche of the profession, there's always a filtration done.
Dr. Kohli, we're short on time. I'll have to interrupt you, but you're very right. For all the CA aspirants, it's important to understand that they mustn't lose hope. There's always another day. There's always another attempt. Thank you so much.